Welcome to the latest update of the Louisiana Timed Program's John James Audubon Bridge project. When completed, this bridge will be the longest cable bridge in the Northern Hemisphere. This update has been brought to you by RBS. Located just south of St. Francisville, Louisiana, the bridge will connect West Feliciana Parish with Point Capee Parish.
This is a shot of the east side of John James Audubon Bridge. Construction of the towers is just about complete. They have multiple cables supporting the roadbed now. Last time we were here they only had one. They brought that out to 4 or 5. Side of the road now. So they're moving forward. This is a shot of the west tower. At this time they have a crew over there that is in the process of removing the cofferdam from around the pedestal. And as soon as they finish on that side, they'll be starting on the east side with that same process. When they're doing that, are they're just pulling that sheet piling out with a crane, or copper dam that they just cut off. They will continue that process until they've gone all the way across. Every bit of it. To give you an idea, this is the coffer dam on the east side, and the man doing the cutting will be standing on this top I-beam, cutting down until he can't go any further, and then he'll drop down to the next beam down below, cut it down to the point where they want to stop, and after they get the section cut out, they'll remove it. Road surface on the east side. As you can see, some cables coming down that are attached to the piece that's in place. You swing around, those orange pipes there, they call them cable stays. That's inside each of those orange pipes is a bunch of steel cables that actually makes up the tension device. Those orange pipes are what everything goes inside it.
Yeah, I gave him all the information you want.
I've been calling somebody else.
This is one of the road plate panels there. They're ready to set. Each panel weighs about 68,000 pounds.
Okay.
Ready to put that in. They use this crane to put it into place. Saw the crane operator earlier. They're getting ready to set this down. This is a reel of the cables that actually go inside and hold the bridge up. There's multiple strands of this wire in each of those cables depending on which part of the bridge it's on. Each one of those pipes has a bunch of these in them to hold the bridge up.
Really, it's enough capacity to do.
These pieces here, he said they weigh about 68,000 pounds.
They have 16 wide, because we set them sideways, so that next one is one panel. We'll set 6 panels. The 6 panels make every jump. So I think it's 16 by 30, 36 or 38.
So for each section, you said it takes 6 of those panels.
Got another operator over here to help us.
This is the east tower on the road day.
That's 747.
This time they're installing another road panel. small platform just below the top of the tower on the east side. And this is a view from the tower. Top of the tower on the east side. There's the point of view, west side tower. And down below us is the pad that they just saw installed. They're finalizing it now. As you can see, a long way up. Again, this is from the top of the east tower, looking east at the roadbed. We have 7 sets of girders left to put in place to connect the rest of the roadbed. What you're seeing there in the middle of the picture is Baton Rouge. It's the state capitol to the left. And this is a view from the top of the East Tower. We're at about not quite 520 feet where we're staying. This is one of the cable stays that has one of the cable strands already in it. They'll soon be installed onto the bridge.
27 foot.
And there will be 27 of these cables inside of this cable stay in this particular set of cables. East side. We're headed over to the west side now. This is on the west side. Earlier you saw where they're removing sections of the cofferdam. They pre-cut, I guess, to cut the majority of it, where they just have to cut a small portion at the last, just before they pull it out the water, or pull it off the surface. As you can see, they have a large line cut in them, and they use a lance to cut it. They use what's called an oxy lance to cut the steel on this cofferdam to free it up so they can pull it off. And when complete, we just have the pedestal with the black and yellow bumper guards on it. That's a view of the east side. From the point of east side, they've not started the removal of the cofferdams on the east side yet. This is a stack of the panels that they've already cut off and removing from the site. And that is the roadway to cut the steel on the cofferdams with. And that's how they cut big steel really fast. This is all they have left to remove for the cofferdam on the west side, and after they get all these panels out, then they'll start removing this steel support structure. They have all the panels all the way around removed, cut out, and when they're done, they'll have a pedestal and a big bumper pad. This is where they remove the cofferdam on the west side of the river. See that? This is the last piece of the wall to be removed. You can see all the cuts in it, pre-cuts in it. They're also putting the road deck down on this side. There's a barge with their pre-positioned road deck ready to be installed.
Good for myself. You'll never ride me out before, Larry.
This is a shot from downriver, south of the bridge. You can see both pieces of the bridge. Barely get both towers in there.
We're here to learn what's going on the road and what's going on the bridge, and I think we have the experts, hopefully, that are going to do this. Sam just told me that he is the communicator, but he has the experts here, so don't ask him any questions. Let's see. Who all do we have tonight? Sam Moore is Communications Coordinator for Louisiana Time Managers. Chad Vosberg, Area Engineer for Louisiana DOTD. And Wayne Marchand, Quality Assurance Manager for LA Times Managers. So without any further ado, we're going to turn this over to Sam and let him get going.
You okay?
Sam, space bar.
Just set that back in that hole. That'll be fine.
All right, first off, can everybody hear me okay? All right, good. Well, first of all, thank you for coming tonight. It's my pleasure to present to you. You all are wonderful Louisiana tax-paying citizens, so it's time to show you what we've been doing out here for the past couple of years. These two projects, of course, are very long awaited. Many people have been talking about, specifically the Audubon Bridge, for as far back as I've heard so many people talk about. And it's good to work for a project that's delivering on a promise that was made to this community decades ago. And coupled the Audubon Bridge with the US 61 widening, we really do have a good opportunity here to deliver on what you need, on what makes this area a viable access point to come through safely, more efficiently, and most importantly, quicker. So I'm going to go through everything first, and I'm going to start with US 61. Well, first off, a little background about what this program is. These two projects are part of the TIMED program. The TIMED program was an act, which act it was, back in 1989 that was voted on and approved by the people. It listed 16 specific projects by name of what was going to be funded. Well, the program was supposed to extend out all the way to 2034, but in 2002, the state moved from a pay-as-you-go program, because y'all pay with this with the 4-cent gas tax, moved from a pay-as-you-go program to a bond-financed program. And this meant that we wanted to accelerate it, the state wished to accelerate it, and they hired Louisiana Times managers to help accelerate these programs. And the two of the projects were listed, was at the time it was called the St. Francisville Bridge, and US 61, the widening from Thompson Creek all the way up to the Mississippi state line. A little bit of difference between the two. Louisiana Time Managers actually directly manages the Audubon Bridge. DOTD actually manages the US 61 project. They manage it directly, but it is part of the timed programs. So without anything else, I guess I'll start by going into US 61. And this is some of the stuff that's going on right now with the project, and some of the current work. Now, St. Francisville to Baines, and I'm going to refer to this after this as the Northern Project, just for geographic reasons. They've started paving operations for the new southbound lane. So coming from Baines coming south, they are now starting the paving part of it. And this is expected to continue. This is kind of a really good lead into the city. From Thompson's Creek to the St. Francisville, otherwise I'm going to call it the South Project. You recently saw that you switched traffic to a newly completed southbound side, and that was at the north end of the project, kind of around St. Francisville, which you've seen already. And they're putting the final dressing on the southbound side. So right now, this project is really moving forward towards completion. Recently completed work, things you've already seen to show what's been going on, what's progressed since and recently. They've completed the base work. This is the concrete, kind of the asphalt base work for the new southbound lanes. And what this will allow for is the paving of the new southbound side to begin. So basically, completing one project in order to move forward with the other phase of the North Project. Now on the south side, from here to Thompson's Creek, they've just completed the paving on the southbound side on the north end of the project. I know that's a lot of directions, but this is the stuff you're seeing going on right now, these paving operations. You also see a lot of the widening of the bridges, right? This Hamilton Creek Bridge is, you'll see the girders going up right now, preparing for the widening of those lanes. So what are we going to see in the future? With 61, of course, with the northern project, they're going to finish paving the southbound lanes, and then they're going to have a traffic switch, and they're going to switch traffic to outside the work area. So you're going to kind of go on the side part of it in order to start creating the center lane. This is going to be the your turning lane, the center part that goes in both ways. And on the south project from here to Thompson's Creek, we're going to remove some of those temporary detours that you've been experiencing, some of the crossovers, and they're going to do some of the guardrail installation on the bridges, complete the final tie-ins, and then basically the final seating and dressing, which basically is planting the grass, putting the final coats on everything, punch list work, opening the project. So there's a lot of things going on, and if you have questions, you can ask them later. But some of the things that are going to directly impact you that, we can all talk about paving, but let's talk about you're going to experience. And you're going to have a couple of traffic shifts that are going to occur. They're not major. They're pretty much what you've been seeing since the start of the project. But the upcoming, for the north project from here to Baines, traffic will be shifted to the new southbound pavement, similar to kind of what they did on the reverse over here, so that the new center turn lane, kind of the fifth lane, if you will, can be completed. And this will take place, of course, after the southbound paving is completed. Now, what you already experienced, which I think was a couple days ago, was that traffic was shifted already to the new southbound lanes. I think that's what you recently saw. And there's going to be another one taking place at the south end of the project as it kind of moves on, and there are more temporary detours. So basically, you're going to see just a couple more shifts, nothing major. But this is this project. Both of these projects, I want to let you know, are coming to a close, and we're talking in the very imminent future. These two projects will be done. One of the projects is a little bit further back, but within the next year, you should be driving on a completed 4-lane highway from Thompson's Creek all the way to the Mississippi line. Anybody who's interested, these are the two projects right here. The north project is at about 68% complete, with the south project at 89% complete. And those numbers, people love those numbers. I can't tell you anything about it. I don't know exactly why. But what really, what are you really interested in? You're interested in when are you going to finish? So right now we're anticipating. With the northern project, by the summer, probably midsummer, to be a little bit more specific, of 2011, you'll have that project completed. Of course, these are all weather dependent, and weather days are factored in. But if we've in the past couple of years, we've had an extremely wet year. In the South project, early 2011, and I'm talking, when I say early, I'm talking January time. So January, February time is what we're projecting. And those are conservative estimates. Both of those are very conservative estimates. So I'm not just giving you our best case scenario. These are estimates that we're fairly confident of, barring some major calamity or some extremely weird weather. There's always room for error here, but we are expecting these to complete. And that's 61. I can't really answer too many good questions about that, but if y'all have questions, then feel free to ask them later. So now, the Audubon Bridge. And now this is something, I'm going to hold questions to the end.
But can we ask questions on one project at a time?
If you want to. I mean, if you would like to do that, we can do it that way.
I would appreciate it.
Well, if you would appreciate it, then we'll do it that way.
Okay. On the 61, on the lane that is presently open, as we leave St. Francisville, that roadway is much lower than the new bridge that has the girders. Is that always going to be like that?
I'm going to defer this question to the engineer, Chad.
You're talking about exactly what you're talking about now on the Alexander Creek?
Yes. Yes.
Chad.
You talking about the... Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
He thought he wasn't going to get any questions.
I assured him he was.
That's quite all right. If you look at that right there may be a slight difference in grade, but what you see right now is the top of the girders on that Alexander Creek Bridge on the what would be the
Chad.
West side.
Yeah, we're going to give you
I
this.
think it's just not turned
It's
It would
starting going.
be, it would be the new southbound side, so by the time you build your deck and everything, it will be closer, you know, but it's not exactly the same. So there will be some difference.
It sure looks like the one that's there that we're riding on right now is a lot lower than the gird what's on being put up.
There, like I said, there is going to be some difference in the grade, and not, you know, necessarily going to be exactly the same. That design varies, you know, it's not going to be exactly the same across northbound and southbound, two separate roadways, you know. So. Yes, sir.
When we coming into town on those two bridges, right past Thompson, Alexander, is that when it's only going to be 3 lanes, a middle lane, and 2 traffic lanes? Is that from Alexander Creek all the way to?
For the north, it'll change to, actually, it's going to, the configuration up to 10 is going to be pretty much, part of it will be 5 lanes, and part of it will have the separated median, just like it does now. So yeah, there will be a section of 5 lanes between Alexander Creek and LA-10. Yes, sir.
I heard him say that when this project right in here is finished, it's going to be a new road from Thompson Creek to the state line. That southbound lane from the state line back this way to the next portion of that project never was replaced. Is that in the project?
No, sir, it's not. Part of it will be overlaid. The part right here near LA-10 at the intersection between the, you know.
No, I'm talking about from the state line here.
Yes, sir, that's not included. That southbound side is not going to be paved in this project.
Well, I can answer this. The widening of that was part of the original time program, and this US 61 project is separated into segments. The 2 segments that are north of Baines were completed through the time program years ago, I think in like '97. So those, they're divided into segments.
Southbound lane never was replaced.
The only part of the thing was just the 4 laning, the overlays and all that. These are the only 2 remaining segments under the program. Some of that stuff was done way before, way before. I mean, the program has been going on since '89. So some of this work was done way back then. So that's the only thing. These are only the 2 segments that are remaining, and they were scheduled to do later. With the acceleration, they moved up to now. I think these were not scheduled to be done 2000. I don't remember exactly, but it was going to be much later. I think about 7 years further down the road.
On these projects, which we're working on now, are they all going to be concrete, or are we going to have concrete and then one area is going to be asphalt?
Try that mic again, sir.
You're going to have portions of it.
Keep it up to your mouth, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. You're going to have portions that are going to be asphalt and portions that are going to be concrete. They're not all going to be concrete. So it's not going to all be the same. Yes, sir.
The part that's here in town, is that the north project or the south project?
That's the north project.
That's all, everything from Alexander Creek north is the north
Yes,
project?
sir. That's correct.
You know, on Commerce Street, right there north of Alexander Creek, is there something we could do to make that more permanent? It's just a terrible road coming in, man. I can't imagine riding on it another 6 months.
Talking about Commerce Street itself?
Well, right there by the new Cape Casa and Creek, there's a light there, you can turn to go up by the hospital, where the new motel is.
Where the bridge is, where you're on Alexander Creek, and you turn.
That turnout is going to be replaced. So you're just not seeing it right now. You're talking about in the temporary state that it's in now until, pretty much until, we can look at that and see what we can do in that, as far as something, is it you just finding that the aggregate is not being kept up? Or
That's right. Right, they're terrible potholes there. It's really a safety issue when you're trying to go from town to get up on the 61. They're not maintaining the speed limit coming through there, so you're trying to hurry to get up on there, and it's just terrible.
I can get with our contractor and our crews and get them to kind of take a look at it and see if there's something we can do, maybe pay a little bit more attention.
That'd be great if you could.
Sure could.
Yeah.
The
A lot of people
Alexander
use
Creek
that.
Bridge, is he gonna be 4-lane?
Yes, ma'am, it's gonna have,
One bridge, 4-lane?
it'll be two separate bridges,
Okay.
one in each direction.
What was her question? What was her question?
Is the Alexander Creek Bridge gonna be 4-lane? It'll actually be 2 lanes in each direction, 2 separate bridges. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything for pedestrians and bicyclists? Are there going to be sidewalks or anything? Or
We don't have that included in the project. We will have shoulders on the project.
will they be shoulders? Because right now they're curved, you know, and you can't, if you're riding a bicycle, that would help you. And a lot of people do ride bicycles in this parish.
In the 5-lane section, we'll have curves, and we don't have sidewalks in the plan. They won't have anything, dedicated for the bicycle.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the signals from Thompson Creek to the Angola Road? I would imagine the state has plans on putting in signals, and if so, where would they be located?
I'll tell you, I'd really have to look back at my plans for Thompson Creek.
I'll the complete project, north and south.
Where at the new alignment where the Audubon Bridge is coming in, we'll have a new signal at that location. And beyond that, I don't know of any added signals.
So what you're saying is it's right now on the plans, there's no signal at the school?
I have to double check that. I don't think we do. I'd have to kind of double check my plan. It may be at the school.
No, at least a scheduled flight to allow traffic.
I can check on that for you.
Will there be a turning lane at 66?
Yes, ma'am. Sure would. Yes, ma'am.
When are y'all going to work on the intersection right here at 10?
That will probably take place after this southbound side gets done a little bit more toward the end of that north project's completion. In that section that we're going to be milling and overlaying, the asphalt section throughout, on each side of that intersection. So that'll be kind of toward the end of the project.
So mid-year next year, probably?
Possibly a little bit before that, maybe March or April. It's kind of hard to predict at the contractors, most of the time they like to do that at more toward the end of the project. Yes.
When I come into town south on 61 and I come to 10 and I stop at that light, the light is actually on my side of 10 instead of across, and you can't see it. And I see a lot of people doing that, trying to back. Is there any way to set the lights correctly?
And look and see if that adjustment could be made right now.
You see what I'm saying? When
Yeah, you
intersection, the light is right above you where you stop instead of being.
It won't be very long. Some of the traffic will be shifted in there anyway. Okay. So that's one of the issues you have when you have construction going on. The exact placement, it may not be perfect, but I'll tell you what I can do. I can look at that and see what can be done and try to figure out exactly what time, we're going to be shifting in that area. Anything else? Thanks.
All right. So, hope that helps you out with some of the 61 questions. And this is more my specialty, Audubon, so hopefully I can direct you on anything. Just a little overview about what Audubon is. And a lot of times people don't understand the magnitude of the project. They think of a bridge and they think of a Mississippi River Bridge only. Well, that's only part of it. The elevated structure that's going to go over the Mississippi, which includes the wash zone, if you will, on the St. Francisville side, all the way over the levee on the Point Capee side, is a 2.44 mile elevated bridge. And this, of course, this has two 11-foot travel lanes in each direction, 8-foot shoulders and outside shoulders, and 2-foot inside shoulders. So the bridge is being built. The approach roadways are only 2 lanes, but the bridge is being built in anticipation if there is, for future widening of those approach roadways. So you'll have that extra room. Now, in addition to this, you have approximately 12 miles of 2-lane roadway that connect LA1, Hospital Road, all the way to 61. The roadway on this side, of course, you have so much a different geography, topography, if you will, because you have no levee. So there's a lot more water on this side, a lot more bridges. On the other side, you have 4 new intersections of existing roadway 3 new intersections of roadway, existing roadway over in Point Capee. That is LA1, LA10, and then the River Road, LA981. And those are the entrance and exit points for the bridge project. Before I say something about that, so this area right here, you're coming straight in, you go straight to the bridge. If you're turning left or right onto the bridge project, you're going directly there, and currently there are no turnoffs. You're going to cross over Point Capee. Now on the other side, Point Capee has a couple of different turnoffs because it runs right through their town, or their roadway system. So where are we now? Well, a little bit about the tower. The towers right now, they are a little bit about them. They're 520 feet as their top height. It's a little bit shorter than the Cajun flare stacks if you want a perspective. It's made up of, it's called an H-form tower. It's because it's got 2 cross beams. Let's see if I can work this thing. You've got the lower cross beam right here, and then this picture doesn't show up, but this is built right here. This is upper cross beam. Right here is your bridge deck. This is what the surface that you will be driving on. And it's anchored by 42 drill shafts that run 100 feet into the Mississippi River bed. So, pretty sturdy structure. Just a couple, in case you don't know, just a little bit about the project. It broke ground in May of 2006. The main span at 1,583 feet, once completed, will be the longest cable-stayed bridge in North America. It's going to beat the Cooper River Bridge by, I think, 20 feet. A lot of the engineers that worked on this project, so I don't know if that was a coincidence or not, but that is, you will hold the record for a little while until someone says it beats you. And also, the total cost of the project is $408 million, and that includes that materials, building costs, that also includes right-of-way acquisition, management fees, and everything entailed. That is a complete total cost. The contract cost with the contractor is paid is $350 million. And that contract cost is a lump sum contract, so that's what they get unless they put through their change orders. So current status of the project, where do we stand with the Audubon Bridge as of today? With the main span, this is the part that actually crosses the Mississippi River. The towers are at their final height. The towers are done. Both towers are pretty much complete. Some little dress work going on. They're going to install the elevators into the towers, service elevators. So pretty much punch list work, but the towers for the main part are complete. Currently, we have 25 of 53 bridge segments installed. And so when you see the aerial pictures later, you'll be able to see kind of how far it's gone out into the river. And these pictures are about, pictures I have are about a month old, so a lot has been done even since these pictures. But these are the current numbers. Out of 136 cable stays that are on the stay cables that are on the bridge, 44 currently are installed, 22 on each tower. If you think about it, each tower has, if you have 2 spires, it's 2 this way, 2 this way. So each time you do a span, it's 4 of them. So we have 44 installed currently for both towers total. For the approach roadways, and this is where you really start to see the difference between the 2 sides of the river. First of all, the Audubon Bridge project incorporates 7 other smaller bridges. These range anywhere from a little small bridge that crosses a little creek to one of them is a 3/4 mile elevated bridge that crosses over railroad tracks in Point Capee. Most of the bridges for the project, though, are on this side because, again, you have much more water to cross than the other side does. All these 7 bridges are pretty much complete except for some guardrails and striping, and that's just because we're no reason to finish them and dress them all up finally until you're ready to open it. The eastern approach roadway has all pavement structure except for the riding surface. So the whole point of that, again, you don't want to put a brand new finishing riding surface and let it sit for a year. So that's the last thing that we're going to do for that. The western approach roadway completely includes a reconfiguration of LA1, which has already gone into effect. Will be done this fall. And that's going to become important because there is going to be a change, especially with the Point Capee side. There have been some changes to LA1 already, and there will be, they're expecting something to happen very soon. And the high-level approaches, these are the elevated parts that kind of approach the Mississippi, are still under construction. They're going, they've already crossed the levee on Point Capee, and the elevated structure is, with the water being low, is a great time to work, and they're making progress on this side. Now this is something that's very unique to the big difference, is that we are actually planning on opening part of the project coming up in a couple months. October, I'm more thinking around November time, but basically what we're going to be doing is the section in New Roads, the entire approach roadway in New Roads, and if you think about it, wait, that's not the right line there yet. And this basically, if this is the bridge right here, and this is LA1, which is this reconfiguration here, you can kind of see this triangle right here. All this section in between the bottom part of the triangle has been eliminated. So LA1 now doesn't go straight across. Hospital Road doesn't go straight across. You come to a point here, and you turn back around and go down here. And all this roadway will be open to the public this fall. We're planning on opening it because it's going to be complete. There's no reason for the contractor to hold on to it. It's going to serve as a much quicker access route for Upper Point Capee Parish to come down and get to the ferry, which is over here. The bridge is right here. That'll include the 981 connector. So you'll be able to go from Hospital Road all the way down to River Road on a brand new roadway. So I think it was what, about 5 miles, 6 miles? 6.7. 6.7 miles of new roadway. Turn it over. Would love to do that over here, but it doesn't connect to anything, so it's not really in your region. All right. Perspective about what this bridge is and how big it is. Audubon Tower is 520 feet. The tallest building in Louisiana is 697 feet. So you're talking about, you see it from a distance, you see it from pictures, and it's a totally different thing when you're standing at the base of those towers. This gives you a perspective about where it goes on where the towers are going to in a range. Some other just fun facts about the project. First of all, there'll be 241,600 square feet of deck. And this is approximately equivalent to 4 football fields. If you extended them all the way out, that'd be about how much deck space there will be. The deck weighs approximately 25.7 million pounds, which is about 6,000 tons more than the Eiffel Tower. So this is a considerably larger structure, all told. As of about a month ago, about 3 weeks ago, we had 82,000 cubic yards of concrete used on the entire project to date, and that would fill approximately 25 Olympic-sized swimming pools. One of the other things, this is kind of a side note that I didn't even know, when you look at the towers, they're actually hollow. And of course, and all the crossbeams are hollow, and they do this because it's a lighter weight structure. It gives it a lot more, it's efficient, and it also gives it a lot more, it's also a lot lighter, and so it makes it a little bit more sturdy. And there also are approximately 1,558,000 tons of concrete used to date. And this, I'm sorry, this was for this is for the bridge. This down here is total, and that would be more than 4 times the weight of the Empire State Building. So there are lots of materials that are gone into this thing, and of course, and what that also means for the parish. And one of the things that I try to really let people know around here is that, you talk about the bridge opening and what the bridge is going to mean for the communities and this and that. But it's not about just that. It's also about what it's already done for the communities. First of all, every material purchased for this bridge, it's not exempt from sales taxes. They pay sales tax on everything that's delivered. Most of it gets delivered to Point Pete, but y'all split, the parishes split the sales tax revenue. Also, the workers around here have been here for 3-4 years. I mean, they are eating, working, and playing in these communities. And so you really have already felt some of the advantages of having a project of this magnitude already here, and this is long before the project is open. Now I'm going to go through some aerials here. These are brand new. They're about 3 weeks old. This gives you a good generalization of where we are. We're a little further along on the deck with the cables than this shows, but this gives you an idea of what it kind of looks like. As you can see here, the towers are pretty much complete. And right here, you've got 2 cranes. They're called derrick cranes, right here on each side of it. And basically, they pick up panels of concrete and they attach them here. And they do it on both sides at the same time. Then they attach cables further out on both sides. And they attach more. And they keep moving out further and further and further and further. And this happens at both towers at the same time. So essentially, these 2 triangles are just getting broader and broader and broader and broader. And actually, this is a good view because this shows you the St. Francisville approach. And there's another picture I have, I think, in here that will show you how far back this elevated structure goes. This is the picture. This right here is the elevated structure in Point Pete, the occasion being here. It drops off. You get off the bridge and you pretty much drop straight to the ground. Here, this all right here goes on and on and on and on. All this is elevated. So y'all are experiencing a lot longer time because you have to build and put all this in for about, gosh, I think it's about 1.5 miles of elevated roadway. That's before you even get to the bridge. But this gives you a good perspective of what the different sides and what the geography is. This is also on the St. Francisville side. Again, you see here more of the topography, a lot of smaller bridges here that show you, crossing, some of these lower level areas, some of this Mississippi backwash zone here. And so if you were going this way, the bridge would be up here. I like this picture because it gives a good perspective. You can see the 2 triangles right here, and then right now, I would say that they're probably about right there with it.
When you talked about the bridge segments, that you had like 25 bridge segments?
25 to 53 total.
And here, what is a bridge segment?
It's hard to put it in there. It's hard to kind of do it with these aerial shots. They have to be closer up. I mean, they're not very big. I mean, if you think about, well, they're decently big when you're standing next to them, but when you look up here, they're not very big. But yeah, just give you a little perspective. The cable stayed portion of the bridge will approximately go here, from starting here to here. So this is the area of the span of the cable stay right here.
Okay.
So if you divide that by 53, yeah, you'll get it.
Okay.
This right here is the picture from the New Road side that shows the intersection with LA1. This also shows the reconfiguration that I was talking about. Here's that Scott multi-use center they have. If you're coming, this is coming from Morganza. Coming here, you used to just go straight on through. Am I right? Is that Morganza? Yeah. Okay.
Morganza's to the left.
It's up here?
Yeah,
this way. Yeah, okay, and this is New Road. That's what I thought. So if you're coming from Morganza, you used to just go straight through here to New Roads. Well, not anymore. What you do now is come up here and you veer off. And this is a stopping point. This is the future Audubon Bridge roadway that we'd be turning over. But now, you stop here and you have to turn and go back up here. And all this section of LA1 is now gone. They're tearing it up right now. And this is in preparation for the final project. But for now, until we open this roadway, they have to kind of veer and then turn left. So that just gives you a perspective of what the changes that they've had to experience. And I can tell you some of them weren't really happy with me because down here is Falls River Academy and people pick up their kids in carpool. Yeah. They couldn't turn here anymore. They weren't really happy about their carpool. And this right here shows you the intersection of 61 and the Audubon Bridge project, and kind of, there'll be a signalized light here and then you have your 2 lanes coming this way. So this kind of gives you a good perspective. If you can just wipe out the asphalt part and just put this nice pretty little white part, that's essentially what it's going to look like when it's complete. You'll be signalized here with turning lanes here. They're still trying to figure out the exact tie-in points of how it's going to look at 61, but these are minor things that you won't even notice. So that, in essence, is where we stand today with the Audubon Bridge and the entire project as a whole. These are brand new aerials, and I will be, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it next week. I will be uploading these to the Audubon Bridge website, and you'll be able to go through the whole, I think there's, Lord, 100 of them, so you'll be able to see pretty much an entire view of the entire project in its totality. So with that, I guess I can yield to any questions about the bridge. Yes, sir.
Well, the smaller bridges you're talking about, are they going to be 4-lane bridges or just 2-lane bridges?
They are 2-lane bridges. All the approach buildings are 2-lane bridges. They're conventional AASHTO bridges, so they're not as hard to widen as a Mississippi River Bridge crossing. A lot less expensive too. But they are 2-lane bridges.
What's the latest on the completion date?
And I forgot to mention that too. Our current projections put it in fall 2011, which is about a year from now. I can tell you that we are fairly confident of that date. I know you've heard that before, but we are fairly confident of that date. We are at a very conservative estimate here. I mean, I cannot speak for Mother Nature. As Lord is my witness, I'd love to bring her down here and chastise her myself for this project, but unfortunately I don't have that ability, and she'd probably smite me. But that is a conservative estimate, barring some unseasonably high water or a major flood, or something that that's beyond normal circumstances. That is a conservative estimate. I do want to show you something before we move on. I do want to show you what I do have that gives you a perspective of the bridge project from start to finish. Totally forgot about that. I'm glad I didn't. This right here is a time-lapse. This is where the bridge stood in 2006, whenever the project just started. As you can see, there's Cajun, and there's nothing here. And this is going to really give you perspective. A lot of people thought for years that the bridge wasn't going anywhere because they didn't see anything. But the thing was that most of the work going on with this structure was underneath the water. That's the hardest part. And I'm going to show you a couple points in this video of why this project became so cumbersome. But you'll see in this video, this is going to go all the way from 2006 to now. And you'll see people building, and it just goes and goes and goes. It's not till the end where you start to see a structure. But there's a couple points in here that really do illustrate some of the challenges. All this is, we're halfway through and we haven't even gotten out of the water.
Say you might let them
Look at
know
that.
This is on your website.
Yeah, this right here, that's a great perspective shot right there of what happened. All the work zone is completely washed out. And this was something that they did not anticipate. This was not quite what they call a 50-year flood, but it's about as close to it as you can get. But what goes up must come down. There's another point too, right coming up here. The water went up. But now, okay, look where we're at in the video. We're almost to the end. And this is representative of only in the past year. And you can see the towers just fly up. And that's where we are as of about a month ago. So I think this video definitely illustrates why there's been a lot of confusion about the project, because a lot of things went on that weren't seen. And now, with the water, the high water not affecting us now, because we're obviously out of the water, we can move forward pretty systematically. And this final shot gives me a good opportunity to these cranes, literally, attach segment, there's a couple segments, attach cable. Attach segments, attach cable. It's going on both sides, both times. I can tell you, my job will probably be really tough when we get around right here in the center. It's just, yeah, right. And make meat right there, exactly. I might not come out of a hole for about a month, but until then, everything's great. Everything's great. The only thing else that of interest is that we do have a couple of tie-down points back here. Right now, the bridge is at its most vulnerable to hurricanes. It's been a great season so far. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. It's been a great season so far. But we do have the ability to anchor the bridge back to tie-down points in the back. It's not literally tied down, but it's connected, and that braces it. They're temporary, and they come right out after the project's done. And it's at its full tension strength. So now I'm done. I'm sorry. I can go back to questions. Yes, sir.
When the river's at normal stage, how high is that bridge above the water?
Oh, Lord, I have that. About 130 to 160 feet, I think, is about right. I think somewhere at 120 to 140. I think it's somewhere around there. It's in the low to mid hundreds.
And how high is the old bridge in Baton Rouge above the water?
Oh, way above that. You can thank Governor Huey Long for that, because the Huey Long Bridge in Baton Rouge, when he built that, he cut off river traffic. He did it intentionally.
He did it on purpose?
He did it on purpose. So, yes, sir.
There's one point you touched on, but 4 years ago, the Highway Department offered us a ridiculously low price for the right-of-way for the bridge. So, and we had to hire an appraiser, and they kept saying they needed to hire an appraiser, another appraiser for theirs, to try to come to some agreement on paying for the right-of-way. It's been 4 years. And the last time they said they still needed to get the results of another appraiser. I didn't think it'd take 4 years to get an appraiser. And I would like to know when they want to sit down and negotiate a reasonable price for the right-of-way.
Well, that is a question that I have to directly refer back to the DOTD themselves. They're the ones. We're the consultant managing the building of the construction of the project. All right-of-way negotiations will go through the department, and I could. Do you have
Sam? Normally on something like that, the property owner did not sign. Of course, we can understand why, but it's your attorney, basically in his hands now. He has to push the issue.
He's been trying to push them all he could.
Well, there's something not quite right, because he needs to force the issue.
Yeah, well, I think for 4 years, just think of what we could have done with a reasonable size, and it was. And I did settle with them for a piece of property on my home place, and I got 6 times what they really offered.
But you need to get your attorney to push that issue.
He's been working on it religiously every week almost.
So what's the distance from the river to 61 of the highway?
The river to 61, 4.5 miles roadway.
And 1 1/4 is elevated.
1 1/4 is elevated.
So the rest of it, someone had mentioned they thought it was a scenic highway where there would be no turnoffs allowed. Is that true or not?
Oh, it's not controlled access highway. No. As long as you get the proper permits from DOTD, there is right-of-way purchase on the side. So, as long as you get the proper permits from DOTD and whoever from there, as far as I know, you're welcome to do it. It's whatever the zoning is. I don't know what the zoning, and that's your parish. Hey, look, I'm gonna stay out of this. I think your mayor might shoot me if I say something. So I'm not.
Will the towers be illuminated at night?
That is another question. We are not doing any illumination. That is something I think that, I think, are they wired in case they...
We have the conduit in place and a design for the lighting, but the problem is DOTD will not foot that bill or assume responsibility. That normally comes from the local parishes, cities, and towns, or something like that.
Yeah, usually I know with other bridges in the past, what the deal is that if they put it up there, the light bill is paid by the communities. I know that's been an issue with Baton Rouge. They've had lighting the bridge. Port Allen and Baton Rouge have had problems keeping their payments, trying to figure it all out. So, Yeah, there are, the system is in place and the plans are in place if they want to go forward with that in the future, but no, it's not. Currently,
and I
there
tell you
are.
what, that lighting would make that bridge look pretty, because if you take some lights and shine them up towards the cables, that's gonna be pretty passing through. It's a shame that
Lobby.
you cannot.
Lobby
I would like to
legislators.
see somebody push that issue. I think if they go ahead and push the issue now, DOTD will come up with the funds to put the wiring in there. But as far as electricity and the maintenance, somebody has to be responsible for that.
Any other questions?
Sam, has the crane reached its maximum height?
Oh, yeah, that's way at its maximum height.
Yeah, I mean, that little man that sits up there in that box, he's as high as he's going now?
Oh, he's not going any higher. God love him for doing that, because I tell you what, I couldn't do it. It's enough to get me up here. It's enough. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I've got a question about the towers. You said that they were anchored 100 feet into the ground?
180.
180? After you get to 180 feet, is that solid, you know, is solid base at 180?
I am pretty certain it is. I mean,
It is, and I tell you what, we did some load tests. We put some load cells underneath the tower. So I mean, many of them are proven. I mean, it's not just guesswork. So, and some of them, I forgot the exact tonnage, we have like 5,000 ton capacity in one of them, and it's 21 in each foot.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious, because here in Louisiana, I think if you go down 180 feet, you're going to hit water, you know?
Yeah, a lot of times you get sued.
You don't get rock, I can promise you that.
I think some of those, I just tell you a little aside, probably the contractor get mad at me for saying this, but there's been times that, you know, they've hit a lot of things going down there. It's like, what did we just hit? And then they had to start all over again. Yeah, you know, I think I remember a conversation at one point where they thought it could have been a boat that they hit. Then you never know what's going to come floating down that river.
You'd be surprised at how deep down there you'll find some spuds. I got that deep down there ground, I have no idea.
Any other questions?
Can we go back to 61? So you're saying that some of the asphalt will be replaced with concrete, but some will not? Is that what you're saying?
Throughout the two projects, yes, ma'am. Some of it will be replaced. You'll notice that the bridges, at the tie-ins to the new bridge, there'll be sections tied into them that will be used. But in between bridges, you'll see some locations where it just stays in the, you know, road existing asphalt. I really wish we could, you know, replace it all, but it's not in the contract.
Yeah.
I've actually tried to see if we could add that, and we just don't have the money.
It's kind of like when I do some work in Baton Rouge, and you hear all the time, you know, why did you do this? Why did you only widen 3 lanes? Baton Rouge is it's a paralyzed city. And the way I even said it questioned it for years, and then somebody really did put it best to me one year. They said, if you don't want the money to do what we can, I'm sure another city will take it. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll take what we can get. You know, so it's one of those things. Boy, Lord, in a perfect world, we would just put pristine right across the top, but you just take what you can get and you do what you can with it.
I want to ask the DOTD engineer about how do you determine what was going to be concrete and what was going to be left asphalt? Is that an engineering decision to know that piece of road that's asphalt is durable and it's going to be there for a long time?
It's a design decision, but it's also a cost decision. I mean, that road held traffic prior to the project being completed or whatever. So, yeah. And they do some boring analysis on that, but as far as
it'll be overlaid.
Portions of it will be overlaid, but portions of it won't be touched. The north and south.
You know, like and Gerald was saying about this piece of southbound from state line down to Baines, I mean, that carries traffic too. But that portion of the 61 is breaking up. It's getting worse and worse every day.
Believe me, I really wish we were, but we're not. I can see you concerned.
So that's going to be would have to be a new project. Okay.
Did you say that there would be shoulders all the way? So right now, there's shoulders in some places and other places?
161 on the bridge.
So, the highway?
Highway
61, they're gonna have shoulders.
All the way?
Except for the curved sections through town. Yes, ma'am. Not the curved sections through town.
Are you gonna repave the section in town? I didn't quite follow what you were saying.
Near LA-10, the intersection of US 61
Is that
and
gonna
LA-10.
be new concrete?
New asphalt, just
New
mill
asphalt.
the asphalt, that's an asphalt section.
Yeah.
They'll mill 2 inches and put 2 inches back, overlay that section.
But what about on the south side, some of the places you haven't even touched, are they gonna be?
Some locations will be reconstructed or overlaid, some will not. You'll have some pretty large sections that won't be touched. At the bridge tie-ins, they'll have some new asphalt in that south section.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
There's an area just north of here, right before you get to the Exxon, that was, I guess, overlaid with asphalt, I guess, in the last week or so. Is that just an interim fix?
We have 2 locations. One location is a temporary, where we have a temporary detour, and we have another location where we have an area where there's subsided on top of the drain structure and the contractor is going to have to replace. So, yeah, both of those 2 sections are going to be taken out.
Do you know how many people you have working on these 2 projects?
I can speak for Audubon Bridge. I know that currently on Audubon, all told with the management, subcontractors, and contractor, I would say close to 150. I mean, there's 150 people working on the Audubon project, and that's all told. Maximum it was at 300, and that was whenever it was at its peak. And that was about a year or so back, a couple years back. But now we're about 150.
But you don't know on 61.
61.
I would be really guessing if I told you. I would probably say 60 people at any given time. It varies.
Yeah, that's one of the things that does vary depending on which subcontractor is on there at a certain time. I mean, a lot of these contractors sub to subcontractors and for portions, so they come in and do their job, and then another subcontractor comes in. So it's always constantly changing. We're a little bit more consistent on Audubon, but you know, it's people in, people out.
When they started this 61 project, each section had a sign saying what it cost. What just cost right now in this last section?
You talk about the north section?
Both and south. Last part right here.
The Thompson Creek to St. Francisville section was 19.6 million, and the northern section was about 30 million. So totally,
Right at 50.
yeah, right at 50.
That's close to what you all the rest of them back.
DOTD question.
Yes, ma'am.
Describe again what, but this intersection right up here, the Highway 61 section, the Highway 61 at Highway 10, how many lanes will be 61? And how many lanes will be 10?
At that location, it's going to look very similar to what you have right now. It'll be pretty much the same thing, it's just going to be overlaid. So it'll be 2 lanes in each direction, it'll just have an overlay on it. So pretty much that'll be staying.
But will there be more lanes?
Well, right now, you have no lanes. There's 2 lanes in each direction right now, so it'll be the same setup that you have now. That's sure.
thank y'all all for coming out today. Feel free, if you didn't grab a newsletter on the back, feel free to do. Like I said, also, by next week, I'll have the pictures uploaded of Audubon, so you'll be able to see the most recent aerials up there.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.